What I want to talk about today is very vital and is very important to your overall growth, right? Now, we're about 6 videos into my segment, Keys to Self-Mastery and Self-Development from a spiritual and magical perspective. And today I wanted to talk about archetypes. When it comes to the gods and goddesses, and this is something that everybody's not going to agree with me on, and I want everybody to listen to this. Not just the people that, practice whatever, spirituality, magic, things like that. But there's a practical approach to this thing. And when it comes to looking at the gods and the goddesses, most people believe that these are entities that are outside of them. And I'm actually writing an article on this. Once I get the article up today, I'm going to post it in the comments so that you link so that you guys can go to and read it, because it gives a lot of insight on archetypes, egregores, thought forms, God forms, right? And they're all essentially the same thing. Now, one of the reasons why I chose the path that I'm on in particular when it comes to this is because the way in which people dealt with deities and spirits and gods and goddesses and things like that did not sit well with me. It didn't. It gave a very dogmatic, very Christian approach that I just couldn't get down with. Because in reality, there is no distinction between you and the God form. Now, we're going to get into how archetypes, what they are, how they relate to thought forms, God forms, egregores, things like that, and how people tap into them to change themselves and to become better than what they are and what they believe that they can be. Now, I want to start us off with an example. David Goggins, which from my understanding is a Christian, he's not even, as far as I know, he don't do magic or any type of sorcery or anything like that. If you listen to his videos and his documentaries and stuff, you'll notice that he talks about himself in a third person. He himself said that he created a sub-persona that he calls Goggins. He just calls it Goggins. And when they talk about his achievements, the things that he does, he associates those things that would otherwise seem impossible to the natural human being. He attributes those things to Goggins, this persona that he has created. Goggins was made. Now, what David Goggins has done, and essentially what others do, such as Beyonce when she taps into Sasha Fierce, and others who tap into their personas, Nicki Minaj and all her personalities, what they're doing is they're pulling energies from the collective unconscious, which Carl Jung would say, and they are pulling them out through their subconscious and into their conscious through the symbolic correspondences of what that energy represents. And they are essentially taking on those traits and those energetic currents as their own to help them do things that they themselves otherwise would not be able to do. So how this works is essentially this. There are, like I said, underlying currents and powers of nature that are responsible for everything that functions within this physical plane, including us, including our emotions or thought process or feelings and things like that. They all come from somewhere. Something, a source, is responsible for all of these things that we experience. These sources of power that would otherwise be unknown to us, thanks to our ancestors, was compartmentalized and organized and put into different classifications and associations based on their functions and their mechanisms. We then were able to experience these energies at work through symbolic correspondences, because we cannot perceive these things, because the only thing that enables us to perceive anything on this physical plane is our physical 5 senses. But since these things are not of a physical nature but an abstract nature, right? How can you see an emotion, right? How can you see an energy? So we had to give symbolic representations of what the thing is like based off their function. When a certain amount of people over a certain amount of time accept personified energies, those become gods and goddesses and entities of that. We create thought forms as well when we have reoccurring thoughts that we think every day with strong emotions that we have visualizations or associations to in our minds. When we do that every day, that creates its entity, that creates a thought form within its own nature. Carl Jung recognized the link between these abstract functions and mechanisms and the subconscious mind, the collective subconscious mind, when he started to interview his patients and things like that and observe them and really focus in on the dreams. When he realized that dreams were messages given through via the subconscious mind to the person, to the observer, and then he started to see these links of these dreams between various people who lived in other places from each other, who never came in contact with each other, who have no relationship or no otherwise correlation with each other, so that there would have otherwise been no way or no reason why that they would have these similar reoccurring dreams. And then he started to relate those to the experiences that they were experiencing and things that was happening in their lives. And what he realized is that there is symbolically something that connects us all. These archetypes, these energies that connects us all in the unconscious, in the collective subconscious. It's the warrior, the wounded healer. So now, how do we tap into these energies? How do we tap into these goddesses? If we want to become a warrior goddess like Sekhmet, or we want to understand the depths of the universe and knowledge easily and on a deeper level like Tahuti, or we want to, be enlightened like Lucifer, or we want to have that magnetic sexual aura like Oshun or Aphrodite, or we want to obtain certain traits and characteristics within ourselves to give us the confidence or to give us the strength or the inner power or whatever it is we need. How can we tap into these symbols? So the method that you employ varies, and it is entirely up to you. What the magician or the sorcerer would do is they would go into their ritual space that is already carefully set up in a way to invoke certain emotions. They would plaster the image of the deity or the character that they are trying to imitate upon their mind even before ritual. They would do this weeks in advance, just studying the archetypes, studying the energy and the characteristics of the thing that they are trying to become. Adapt a personality, a mind like Dawkins, and just go into beast mode. Create your own character within your own mind. Start looking at celebrities and physical people that carry these traits, because the physical people that carry these traits are nothing but pulling from the gods and goddesses within their own selves. But if you don't want to think of it like that, just look at the people themselves. Study Dawkins. Seek to imprint their attributes, their thought process, their mind upon your subconscious mind. Go to sleep ruminating and reflecting upon these people. Wake up ruminating and reflecting upon these people. Study their documentaries, study their autobiographies, everything about them. Seek to understand their mind. Seek to think like they think. And you will start to adopt these character traits within yourself. Become that power that you seek to become. Become better and different than who you are.